We ran across a little design dilemma the other week. We normally use a flat plate to fabricate the brake duct plate that bolts to the spindle on most of the racing applications where we need to duct a lot of cold air to inside the rotor. Doing a Ford product the other day and ran across a weirdism on these Ford spindles. They needed an offset plate to get it back to the correct distance so we could then get the intake on it and mount it up. And to do this requires a rather unique, strange process on the lathe, so I figured I'd show it to you. Basically, what you do is I take a form that pretty much fits the ID of the register that I want, and that goes in the lathe. Now, you don't do this on a little Craftsman Susie homemaker lathe at home. It takes a pretty beefy chunk of equipment. And you get her all mounted up. This is actually a technique that's 100 years old, and they do it on actually what they call metal spinning lathes. And basically, you just start, once you've got the right speed and kind of know what kind of leverage and power to give it, and get used to what kind of English to put on it, you just start moving it over against the form. And then I check to see if I've got the offset I want, and it needs a hair more. That's pretty close. And it deforms it a little bit, so I just check in the back for flatness, and then I can move out the outside edge to get it flat. And that's pretty much it. Now, with this particular technique, you can get pretty whacked out as far as how far you want to push this stuff and the thickness of material and all that, and depending on what you need. You can get crazy enough that you can do, do a big carburetor intake thing, whatever diameter, depends on the form you put in the lathe. And if I had a smaller cylinder type thing that would fit in here, I even did a velocity stack for a special project a couple months ago. Takes a little work, but you can get it formed over the form, and there you go, velocity stack.